Here we go. And the stream should be up and running. Okay, so I basically ran into the room. I was in the bathroom and cleaning my hands because they can tend to become a bit greasy, and then I get all overexcited with this little wiping cloth here, and I'm already finding spots to clean. Oh, you can't see me. Wait, let's see if I can fix this. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try something new. So I'm gonna try to run the intro video that I normally run on my channel. So hopefully you'll be able to see that. And I'm running the video now. Yeah, I think it's running. And there you should see me, and hopefully that ran as expected. So, as always, I'm looking at the phone here on the side because I'm trying to find the stream as it pops up, because I need to be able to see if you're making any comments or anything, and so that I can answer you. So I basically have to search my own name. Because I don't understand why the app doesn't give me, especially when I'm logged into the app, why doesn't it give me some way of actually showing an active live stream, or even if it's unlisted. I can't seem to find that. So I don't know if the stream is up, but hopefully it should be. So yeah. All right. So what we're going to do today, first of all, hello and welcome to attaQ. You're watching a attaQ live episode in where we're going to go through the Bae project that I've got here inside Craft. It's basically just cells sending out MIDI notes and MIDI CC data. So there's no sounds coming from Craft. It's all being generated by Gadget over here. So it took some time to make. I worked on and off with this project for about a week, and then as soon as I was finished, I just basically recorded a video of it, and I can't remember now, but I think it took like 30 tries or something before I got the performance quite right. So I'm just gonna check the live stream here and see that everything is working, and see the live chat. Okay, turn down the volume, Jakob. I always forget to do that for a live stream. And I just got a message from my girlfriend telling me that she's on her way home. So now I can see the live chat and I can see you. So nice. Okay, so the Bae project. We're gonna start inside Craft. I love the new MIDI out thing. I mean, some people want the MIDI in too. For me, it's not necessary, but I can understand that some people want the MIDI in, and of course that would be useful. So hopefully Alex and Jonah from Studio Amplify will incorporate that at some point. Who knows? We can just hope for it, and we can ask for it, you know? But the MIDI out is really useful. So what I thought we were going to start with inside here is the middle thing here. Now, when I'm performing it in my performance video, I'm only using these ones. And basically because when I tried using the other ones, when I did that 30th, when I recorded it for the 30th, for take number 30, I felt that the only thing I needed for this project was these ones, and what these basically are, these are cells containing one note each, and each note is being sent out into a Bilbao or Hesifi? Bilbao or Hesifi? I thought it was Bilbao. We're gonna have a look at that. So if we go into a cell here and press edit, we can see that I've got a little note right there. So it's just a short note because it doesn't need to be that long, because all it's doing is triggering a note inside Gadget, inside either Bilbao or Hesifi. We're gonna have a look at that. So let's see here. I'm sending this one to Gadget MIDI channel 5. Let's see. Yeah, as you can see, it's all tied to the keyboard, so it's basically just MIDI notes. We're gonna jump out of here and jump out of the edit mode, and we're gonna go into Gadget, and we're gonna look for the one that is assigned to MIDI channel 15, and I think it's one of the ones in the beginning here. Like, okay, so that's 16. Where's 15? Come on. I can't find my stuff in my own project. Where is 15? Seriously, there it is. So it's a haQ gadget. Why did I choose the haQ gadget instead of the Bilbao gadget? I don't know. What I did was I chose the kit programming here. It's called UK Garage. No, wait, it's one of these ones. No, I made this myself. So I think I began with the Future Electronica, and then I basically went into each pad and then just loaded some of the vocals in here, because I already love the vocals inside Gadget. So they basically reused stuff that you can find inside Abu Dhabi and Bilbao. And I think I like the haQ gadget better. Don't know why. Why do I? I mean, it doesn't need, just like Bilbao, it doesn't have an attaQ button. And that can be a bit, sometimes the sound that you've sampled, if you start filling with the length, then the beginning of the sound can start like clicking, and then you like to have an attaQ knob or something so you can get a softer attack on the sound, and you can't do that with either Bilbao or haQ. So I really want the guys at KORG to add that, because it's kind of necessary when you're doing these MPC style drummings and stuff. So far, hello everyone that have showed up for this very short announcement live stream thing. I was planning on doing this last week. I just didn't have any time to do it. And this week I have plenty of time. And so I got a little overexcited, and I just wanted to get into live streaming straight away. So that's why I'm basically doing this now. So that's all that these are. These are just playing notes. You could watch them as like playing the pads inside the haQ gadget, and you can do that with either haQ or Bilbao or Abu Dhabi. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it's basically like a keyboard, so you could map this. If I just changed the MIDI channel on these cells to another one that contains a synthesizer, then it would just play notes in the synthesizer. That's all it does. And if we look back into Gadget again, and we go into the insert effect slot, I have done quite a bit with the effects. So there's an equalizer on here, and there is also a compressor. A compressor in here. And I just do that to, the equalizer is basically cutting off all the bottom and just enhancing some of the mid-range vocals, because that's what you want from the vocals in a track. You don't want it, I hit the microphone there, you don't want it to just overpower the leads or anything else. So I tend to make space for the vocals, and I tend to bump up the vocals by cutting off the front and the bottom. The front and bottom and the front, bottom and the next thing I got on here is a reverb, and that's basically just to give it a bit, spaciness. And so the thing is, all of these vocals, all of these samples sound different from one another, and so I kind of had to remove the same types of frequencies out of all of these vocals, and then I had to go into each pad and make sure that the level, the volume of each sample was the same. So some of them I had to turn down, some of them I had to turn up, just to get them leveled. Because in the end, when I play my track, I've had like live performances in the past where I did something similar with samplers that I've used. Like I had an old Zoom sampler, and one of the problems I had was one of the samples was so much more louder than everything else. So even when everything else was set at the correct volume, every time I hit that 15th pad, or was it the 9th? I can't remember now. But that pad, it's like it just started crackling and stuff. So I learned back then to keep all of my stuff, you know, sounding the same, if it's within the same mixer bus or group or whatever, just so that thing won't happen. So let's go back into Craft, and the next thing we're gonna look at, basically the drum, and the drums are haQ gadgets. And I only used sounds that were already inside the haQ, like the factory presets. There's loads in there, and then I think I tweaked them a little bit. So we're gonna go in and check here, but first we're gonna check the patterns. So here you can see the patterns, and it's the same thing as with the samples. They're just sending out notes, so you just have to, what I did was I turned all of my keyboards into chromatic so that I had every note. Even though I'm doing this in a minor scale, I always do this in a minor scale. I always do that. I've said that 3 times now, and that's very unnecessary, Jakob. I turned on the chromatic so I could access every note. And you kind of have to do that, because if you have a scale in there, then you're going to miss out on some notes like hi-hats and snares and stuff like that. So that doesn't work. And then just place out your stuff. And the cool thing is that it sends out the MIDI note when you have the preview on, even when you're using MIDI. So you can preview the stuff you're putting out. So it was easy finding where everything was. I didn't have to know exactly which pads were what. I just had to go down at lower octaves to find the right spot for the pad keyboard layout for the haQ gadgets, and just put out my notes, which is nice, very nice. And so I made 2 different patterns, one for the more dubsteppy, one for the slow part, and one for the quicker part. So we're gonna go into gadget. Wait, I didn't check I have to check the channel. So that's channel number 1, right? Okay. So the drum loops are channel number 1, and they should be all the way over here, and I think it's this one. Is it this one or is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. And there's not much to say here. I put an equalizer in the insert effect slot, and I put a compressor there. And the equalizer, what did I do in that? Well, it looks like the only thing I did was I raised a bit of the high frequencies around 8000 Hertz and just pulled it up around 2.3 decibels, 2.7 decibels. So I just gave the drums a little bit of an edge. And I don't remember why I exactly did that, but it probably is because, it must have been that when I had all these elements playing, then maybe the high frequencies of the drums were disappearing, getting drowned in all that sound. That might be it. That's usually why I do it, but honestly I can't remember for sure. So if we go back in here, we can also see that we have more cells. And if you watch closely, you can see that these doesn't continue looping all the time. You see, I can only play it once, and that's because I set these to a setting where they can only play once. So you have a loop count inside the cells when you do these triggers, these fills, and I set mine to 1, and that's basically because I don't want to accidentally play the same thing twice. Now, I don't think I used it in the live performance. I don't think, but that's just what happens when you do 30 takes. How do you say that in English? 30th? 30? How do you say that? How do you say that? I can't do it. 30th. It's 15th is simple, but never mind. So up here we have the famous, I shouldn't say famous, it's not famous, it's, well, it is, if you've been watching haQ attaQ, it's the famous haQ smack. And this is something I made. It's a sample I made using Impactor many years ago, back in 2000, many years ago, well, in app time, 2014, I think, for the Buddha-ROM project. And I've used this for every project I've had where I've needed something that could make an impact. It's an Impactor impact, and I love it. The sound is just, oh, it's awesome. It's got a lot of energy, and it's perfect for smacky beginnings. And this one I'm sending from, it almost looks like it comes from these ones. Let's see here. Is it the same haQ Gadget? No, it's not the haQ Gadget. You can't load those in haQ, because, can you? Gadget 15? Really? Okay. I don't even remember this. I should have done this live stream back when I was done with this project. So if I look at it, is a haQ Gadget. How the... Ah, I know. It's not the haQ Gadget. I must have... This is so confusing to me right now. You see, this this is confusing and embarrassing at the same time. Was it 15? Did I just read that wrongly? I bet right now you're writing, Jacob, you chose the wrong one. You didn't check the right one. The right one is not that one. The right one is that one. That's why it looks so wrong right now. I just gotta check the let's see. Okay, it doesn't look like anyone wrote that. Maybe you didn't see that. In that case, nothing happened. So let's see here. The smacky sound comes from Gadget channel 16. And if we jump back into Gadget and check, the Gadget assigned to channel 16, which is right there. It is a Bilbao Gadget, because of course you can't load samples into haQ. It's a drum gadget, just like London, London. I think I saw a video with Doug Woods where he was like, he was like saying London in various ways. I think I sounded like him right now. Okay, so this is basically just here to put in my own samples. So these are samples I never really used, but they come from a sample pack that I purchased off Loop Masters. It's called UK Garage, I think, or Urban Vocals or Urban Dance Vocals or something like that. I think that's Majestic, only that I've pitched him. Yeah, I've definitely pitched him. Majestic doesn't sound like that. And that's also Majestic. That's from the same... Is it Majestic? Or is that Cyril? I can't remember, but yeah. And here you can hear that Indian sample, that Indian woman, Indian vocal woman, woman. This is not going well today. So that's that Indian sample I'm using at the beginning of that performance video when I'm using the Bae thing. Yeah. And that comes from another sample pack that I purchased off of Loop Masters, and it's called Indian Chants. You see, they've launched this new thing called Loop Cloud. I don't think we can use it. We who use iPads and iPhones and stuff, I think that software thing where you can buy individual loops instead of whole packs, I think that's for desktop. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but I think so either way. So when they launched that, they had this sale, and I just went in there. I didn't have much money, but the money I had, I got a lot for. So I bought a lot of packs, when they had that sale, and the Indian Chance one is one of them because I love Indian samples. And so I'm using this Bilbao to load up all of the samples that I want to input into this Bae project myself. Stuff that I couldn't really find inside Gadget. Yeah, basically. So if we go back in here, then we can also find this one. And this one has a switch. And this is just a percussion thing that I wanted to add some more energy when I was playing this part, like the second part of this part, when that comes in, because, you know, it breaks up the whole track, and this whole new feeling just envelops the track and the project, and it becomes something else. I like transforming my stuff, not quite like this, changing the mood completely, but it kind of suited the track. So I that's a thing I did, I guess. So if we look into here, then we can see that inside this cell, I've sent these notes, and this is basically just 3 notes. How weird. Okay, so this is going to channel 9 inside Gadget, and we're going to find channel 9 in Gadget. And it's the Abu Dhabi one. Right, I did that. That's something I did. That's right. So I'm using the auto, they call it, what? Okay, so this is a stutter effect. By the way, I recently put out a video called KORG Gadget Stutter Effect, and then Jason Donnelly at the iPad Musician group told me, like, hey bro, that's no stutter effect. That's a rhythmical gating thing you're doing. And I'm like, yeah, of course it is. So I had to go and change the thumbnail and rename it. I'm still saying stutter effect in the video, but, you know, it isn't a stutter effect. This is a stutter effect. Something repeating itself. The other thing is a rhythmical gating thing. So I think I've just used something inside KORG Gadget here, inside the Abu Dhabi list. So it already comes loaded with samples and presets and stuff. And then what I've done is I'm just playing 3 notes, and it looks like as if I've got, is it the ARP? Yeah, it's called the ARP mode. And so if you just play 1 note, it's gonna do that. If you play 2 notes, it's gonna like switch in between those. And if you're playing 3 notes, it's gonna do that. And that's why I probably put in like 3 notes into that thing, so I could make something rhythmical. Now if we look at the insert effect slot, then we can see that I've got a compressor, which I always put into my projects, no matter what it is, just keeping stuff in check. I can't even emphasize how important that is, because if you do that, if you work like that all the time, then at the end of the day, when you're finished with the project, I say finished, then when you want to mix it, you've already done most of that, probably, by doing all of these adjustments and arrangements before. If you just keep on cramming stuff into a project, when you get to the stage where you're thinking like, yeah, I got all the elements I need in my track, now I'm going to mix it, it's gonna be a mess. And that has made me many times walk away from a project, no matter how good it could be. So that's just one thing there. By the way, yesterday I had this great idea that I would go over all my videos I've made. Like, you can't see the ones, if you search my name on YouTube, you can see that I've got like 550 videos. But if you check the ones that I can see also that I put up for patrons, it's more like 600 videos. So I've made 600 videos, and sometimes I pronounce stuff, many times, all the time I pronounce stuff very weirdly. And I thought I would make this video called like the haQ word book or something, and just repeating these things and explaining them. I don't know if that would be a fun idea. Like MIDI. I say MIDI for MIDI. I know it's MIDI, but I say MIDI. I think that's because I'm Swedish. In Swedish we say MIDI. It's almost the same thing. Well, it's basically the same thing. But I guess like if you're from the UK or if you're from the US, that resembles a word spelled like M double E D double E, I think. We spell it the same way. Wait, why would I say that? That's just oh. Okay, let's see here. So what is this switch doing basically? We're gonna have a look at that. This switch, if we go into the edit mode, we can see that this is sending out a value to CC 120. Now it starts getting interesting here, because you can use both. You can output both MIDI notes and MIDI CC data from Craft to anything, and this is fun. So we're gonna go into Gadget on channel 9 and to Abu Dhabi and check what CC 120 really does. And that way I can show you. That way we can explore what that really does when I switch that switch on. So we're inside the Gadget and we're gonna press the function button, and it was MIDI CC 120. So let's have a look here. And MIDI CC 120, it's got to be up here somewhere, right there. It's the arpeggiator speed, and the value I was putting out, see, the default value was 84, I think, and then I'm putting out 65 when I switch that on, meaning I'm pulling down on the speed on the up, and so it suddenly goes to half speed. I never used it in that take that you can see in that video that I put up, but I did use them before that in those previous takes. I just deemed it not necessary for the track to sound good, so that's why I'm not touching it inside that live performance thing. Now if we go and check here, I just love those triggers, by the way. Okay, so this is obviously some kind of an arpeggiator, and if we go in here we can see that I'm sending it to channel 5, and if we go in here we can see the all of the notes. So it's basically just an arpeggiator pattern that I've made, and if we go into Gadget and check out MIDI channel 5, then right here we can see it's a Wolfsburg Gadget. And so that's all it does. If we go into the insert effect slot, I'll put an equalizer in here, and the only thing I did was I gave space for the bass, and also nothing else. Is that all I did? Huh. I kind of remembered that I did something more, but maybe that's the wrong one. Okay, so obviously I just left some space for the bass, so I pulled down on the frequency, so I put it at 575 hertz and just pulled it down 10 decibels, over 10 decibels. That's quite a lot that I've just removed from there. The bass wasn't necessary in the Wolfsburg Gadget. It was just an arpeggiator. And if we look at the other cells here, they're sending out notes. It's just a note, single note. If we go in and check here, it's just a single short note, and that's so I can play them like this. just to make it more interesting. And this is another thing I don't think I used in the live performance, not the one take that I decided to go with. I put all these triggers in and then I end up not using it. But that's the thing with Craft too, is that it looks good. So just sometimes I just want to add some elements that I'm not going to use just to make it look cooler. But that's a bad thing to do, for me at least, because if you have something like that, then that can be very distracting, especially if it doesn't do anything. Let's see what this switch does. So it basically pitches the thing right up, and if we go into this little switch here and edit it, we can see that I'm sending out MIDI CC 82 to that gadget. And so inside Wolfsburg, we're gonna go out of the edit mode. Oops. If we go into gadget and check the Wolfsburg gadget, and then check the function, and it was MIDI 80, what was it, 80, 84, 87. It's one of the pitches here either way. So I'm basically just pitching one of the oscillators right up with that switch, and that's a nice thing to have. I like that so much with Craft, that I can change the sound. I can have so many switches for the same sound, and I can that way also have so many different sounds. It's like having different presets, which is awesome. It kind of reminds me of what's that app called? I can't remember now. It's like having multiple. No, it's not an app. It kind of reminds me of the Novation Mini Nova with the buttons. You have one preset, and then you make like different changes, and you assign them to different pads. And each time you press a pad, the sound changes drastically. Or not drastically, depending on what you do. So it's like having 8 sounds in one, or 9 if you count not having them pressed in. So that's what I like with Craft too. That's another thing you get. Sure, it takes a bit of time to get something going in Craft sometimes. And you don't have to use the MIDI out. I mean, you can just use the FM synthesis engine inside here. It sounds great. It sounds great. Great bass. Great bass. Okay, I did this. I put this here so I could put that in every time I say bass, but it's kind of hard to reach, so I'm probably not gonna do that a lot. Either way, it's also got great drum sounds in there, so yeah, you really don't need the MIDI out, but the MIDI out is really helpful. So what we have next here is this thing. Now I realize that is a bit low. The sound that creates is just, it's just wonderful. It's like bubbly. It's watery. That thing is something that I have been inspired. I've been inspired by listening to this type of music called Future Garage. And if you go and check out this app or site called Digitally Important, like it's got some of the greatest electronic music in several different radio stations. So they basically run a playlist every week, and sometimes they run the same stuff over and over. Like 4 hours goes by. I'm sitting and editing a video, like a performance video, and when I do those, I don't really have to listen to the music. I just have to make it look good and know where the rhythms are, like where the beats are and stuff. Then I usually listen to Digitally Imported, and I always listen to either the drum and bass station or the Future Garage thing. And there are so many tracks there that sounds just like this bubbly lead here, or lead pad, whatever you want to call it. And I've made that with Chiang Mai. Chiang Mai is wonderful. So let's see here. We have Chiang Mai at channel 3. So if we go into Gadget and go to channel 3 and check out the Chiang Mai right there, here it is. And what I'm doing with that knob basically is, am I touching the filter? Okay, I just have to double check this just to be certain. So there's a little monkey here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a monkey with that thing. I don't only use emojis as like, hey, there's fun emojis in there. The emojis actually tell me what stuff are. So the monkey doing that, covering its mouth, is basically something being filtered off. It's kind of tiny, but I recognize the symbol the instant I see it, and I just know, even if I had like 3 knobs beside each other, and one had a sun, one had that monkey, one had a basketball, I would put a basketball there, I don't know, but I just know exactly where I am, and that's important when I'm doing live performance stuff, especially on a really flat surface with no tactile feedback. So it's sending out MIDI CC 74, and I'm betting that is the filter inside the Chiang Mai Gadget. So if we check the MIDI CC 74, where are you? Yeah, it's the filter frequency. It's definitely the filter frequency. Now assigning CCs inside KRFT is so simple. If you don't know, if you don't have KRFT, if you're watching this, you basically get this drop down list of all the CCs, and if you know, well, you kind of have to know what CCs you want to assign in different things. But with KORG Gadget you have MIDI learn, so you just have to tap the thing you want to control and then just turn a knob. Make sure it's on the right MIDI channel, and there you go, basically. But if you're working with anything else, let's say if I wanted to control my MIDI Nova, I would have to know that the filter frequency knob is assigned to MIDI CC 76, 74, or 75 I think. And then choose that one. And then I suddenly have a knob for controlling my MIDI Nova inside KRFT, which is wonderful. Something I'm doing in the MIDI out tutorial I made some time ago for KRFT, basically when this update came out. So I'm just gonna take a really quick break and just look at the chat window here, because I don't want to miss anything. If you have any questions or anything, always bring water with me, and I've got coffee on the side here. Okay, so I can see that I've got Studio Amplify here. Alex, is that you? Is that you, Alex? If that's you, just write something profane. No, don't do that. Please don't do that. Just write something nice, something cute. Maybe something about a teddy bear or something else. But it's always nice to see the developers of the apps that I'm using in a chat room. It's wonderful. Okay, so let's see here. Is there a transpose function in KRFT? Well, yes. There is a transpose function. I mean, I'm basically doing that, kind of. Well, it all depends. It's like if we go into like what I did here with this one and check, what I'm doing here is I'm transposing through MIDI. I'm transposing something by sending out like a CC to control a pitch. But a transpose, as it is, you have the what's it called? No, not that. What am I thinking of? You can like no, there's no transpose, is there? Alex, I don't think so, because I've never even thought about using it. Yeah, that could be nice. I mean, if you're putting in notes and stuff and you just want transpose, I mean, you have transpose. If you're using the internal synthesizer, you can transpose that one. That's not a problem. And you can pitch and transpose the drum set inside here. And if you want to transpose anything else outside, if you're using MIDI, then you can do it the way I did it. Just send out a CC to whatever controller for the pitch you want and just set it to an octave down or something, or 3 notes down. You can do that too. So, I mean, yeah, I consider that having an option of transposing. So this area up here is just that bubbly lead, and you already know now it's a KORG Gadget, and this is just affecting the filter knob. Now I have another switch here that doesn't do anything, it seems. I can't remember what it does. It sends out CC83. Yeah, so let's have a look inside KORG. Whoops, I accidentally hit the microphone there again. 83, and that's the pitch. Okay, so I'm pitching something, but I could hardly hear it. It's probably because I'm pitching something that is already pitched up again. And you're gonna hit limits when you do that with some gadgets. I'm just gonna move the microphone stand again. Hope you can still hear me. Just tell me in the comment section if you can't. So let's move to this area over here. So that's another, well, it's not an arpeggio. This is a Kingston gadget. I mean, if anyone here has gadget, you will recognize this sound immediately. It's a Kingston gadget, and it's just sending out notes. But the interesting things are these, like this switch here. And not only that, also this knob here. And so we're gonna have a look at what those does. So we're gonna check this trigger first. And I'm sending out MIDI CC 81. I've got a target value of 59, and the default target value is 0. So it's not affecting anything when you turn it off. It just goes down to 0. So it's turning a knob back to the minimum value. But as soon as I activate it, I'm turning something up. And 81 is when we go into the Kingston gadget here, and we can see that 81 is affecting the waveform. The waveform of, oh, it's here, of course, the waveform chooser. Since you have different waveforms, I basically made a wave selector. So I could have just put multiple switches there and just had access to all of the waveforms. That would have been awesome. But I just decided on using 2, usually square waveforms and triangular waveforms or saw waveforms. If we check the insert effect slot, it's just an equalizer, and the equalizer I've pulled down on the low band, so from 815 Hertz and down. I just needed the mid and the slightly high register in the frequency spectrum of this one, because it is kind of ARP-like, kind of. It's a chordish up. It's not even a chord, but it's just there to give an effect, you know. So I don't want it to just take up space. It's just there to build something or give an emotion of something, to enhance the rhythm. Yeah, I don't have that much to say about it. What have I done more? I put a delay on there, of course, and a compressor, as I always do, and then a reverb. So it's very straightforward. I always work that way. If I want reverb on something and I know that there's a lot of bass in there, I always put the equalizer first. I don't do it afterwards, because it's harder getting the rumble out of the reverb than stopping the rumble from entering the reverb from in the first place. So equalizer first, and then a compressor, then a delay, and then a reverb, and then maybe a compressor again, just to, like some reverbs that I use are usually really wet, and then I need to keep everything in check. Right, I think I can hear the door, so my girlfriend is probably coming home, but I'm still gonna go with this live stream. Hello, Gaman. Right, so if we go down a step, we can see this thing here. Wait. The knob for the Kingston Gadget is sending out MIDI CC 86. And MIDI CC 86 inside the Kingston Gadget is doing the run type. And so that's this knob here. It's got different types of animations. And did I just lose all audio here? I can't hear anything. What happened? Oh. Sorry, I muted it. And so that's what I'm affecting with that knob, which is pretty nice. I just love working with craft like this. Let's see here. We go down, we have this thing. And I'm building this with what they're called Marseille. They're called Marseille. So I'm using two Marseille gadget to build this. It's a string and a piano together. So we're gonna go in and listen to them. We have them right here. So here's the first one. So it's called Final Brass. It's a preset in the Marseille gadget, and I just sat here just scrolling through presets after I did the keyboard that you saw me playing there. I made that first with the notes in them and everything. It took me quite a while because I'm really bad at music theory, so I'm just sitting there turning on a note and then turning it off when I realize it sounds wrong. I actually don't know what notes I'm supposed to put where. I just stumble across them. I've done music like that my whole life, and it's working. I mean, it's time wasting, but sometimes I also discover stuff and chords that I normally don't use because of the way of searching for them, actually, which is kind of fun sometimes. So I just sat here scrolling through all the presets, and then I heard this one and I thought it sounded good. And then I scrolled down again or up and tried the piano, and I thought that sounded really cool to use with this. But I couldn't choose, so I just blended them. So the other one sounds like this. It doesn't really sound that good. I mean, it sounds like a general MIDI piano. But it does sound good together with the other Marseille gadget. And then I broke out a few notes in the same scale, and so I could play them together with the chord. And it really, it changes the vibe of the song completely. Okay, I'm just checking again here with the what you're writing. And oh, you've got like loads of discussions in here. That's nice, very nice. Okay. I'm gonna have like a short Q&A at the end, so if you have any questions you might think of, just you'll have space to ask them later on. The next, and I think almost last, I've got that effect up here also. Let's take the effect before we get to the bass, and then lastly the switches. So if we go to the this one, this is just a sample that I put into the Bilbao gadget that I'm using for all other things, like this one. So these two are loaded into the same gadget, and here's where it can be confusing. If you're like a craft user, then you know that one color, like anything with one color is the same instrument, and so these two are different colors, but they're playing the same instrument right now. It's because I'm routing like MIDI instead. So that was confusing for me first, and that's probably why I did the mistake of not really knowing exactly what gadget I was into, because when you're using Craft only, you know, because you know it's got that color, so you know it's that instrument. But here it gets confusing. But this thing, this is the smack. This thing, only I've filtered it and turned it and reversed it. That's all I've done. But it's basically the same sound, and I do that to build up things. I would call that a fail, but you get my point. So let's jump to this page to this little section of our surface, and here we have the bass, the bass. Here we go again. Okay, so I gotta find a way to make like shortcuts for this, because every time I say bass, I want to show this picture, but I need a shortcut or something, so I won't have to stretch in between microphone stands just to reach this little button so that I can show that. Now, the bass is just 2 cells, and 1 cell is for all of this, like the regular things, and then the other cell is for the piano bit. That's the regular bit, and then we have and I didn't really need more than that. I did put some switches here. And so this sounds like the Miami bass gadget, and it probably is. And so what I'm doing here is I'm driving up the resonance filter or something, so it becomes more formant-like, and then it starts talking instead. That's basically what I'm doing. So if we look at this switch here, go into edit, we can see that I'm sending out MIDI CC 71, and this gadget is routed, let's see here, it's to channel 7, and if we check gadget channel 7, it's the Miami gadget, and 71 is the filter crush. Yeah, so basically, yeah, it's not a form, it's a crusher effect. It's a bit crusher, Jakob. That's why it gets that formant vowel sounding sound to it when you tweak that up. So that's all I'm doing with that switch. And I also had a knob in here, and that knob is sending out 71. It's the same thing. So I basically put a knob there so I could do more finer adjustments. Very, very simple. And so there is actually one thing left in here. I haven't shown you the cells where the samples are for the Indian lady. And it's right there. And then I'm also using this to enhance the part with the piano. Is anyone else seeing the weird flickering that goes on, like my iPad Pro sometimes getting brighter and then suddenly getting darker? I have no idea why it does that. I should maybe check it out, but it does that sometimes, especially when I'm using LumaFusion, working with video, and when I'm browsing Safari, and it seems to do it right now. I don't know why, but it's doing it. And this one, I never used this either. I thought it was cool, but I never really found a spot to actually put it in. So I'm sorry, Majestic. I'm gonna try to use you next time. Yeah, so that's all in this project. That's all the bits in here. So if you have any, like, if you're wondering about anything, then why not ask me in the comment section. I'll be here a little while longer, and during that time I might as well just play it a bit. Right, I think it's enough with that. I'm seeing some questions in here, so let's see here. The real Dutchie is asking about, this is here. I set up a channel for one for haQ and a channel 2 for Marseille in my project, but I have overlapping notes that sound in both haQ and Marseille when I play in Craft. Interesting. I'm wondering what the setup of the MIDI looks like inside KORG Gadget for you, the real Dutchie. I can go... Okay, so the real Dutchie asked me to go over the MIDI settings again, so I'll just basically show the simplest thing I've got in here, or simplest. I'll show this thing right there. The piano. So I'm using 2 Marseille gadgets, and if we go into one of these cells, then we can see that I'm sending it out to gadget and to channel number 6. So inside gadget, when we go in here, by the way, there is some kind of a bug inside gadget, so I can't get MIDI to work in gadget with Craft. It only happens with gadget, by the way. If you look in here, you can see that I've got like all ins. I haven't got a specific input from Craft here. I can choose it, but when I do that, when I choose Craft as an input, I can't get it to work. I can't get any MIDI things in. So I don't know what's up with that, really. I talked to Alex about this, and he seems to think it's weird too, because if I do this with Propeller's Thor and I choose Craft as an input, there's not a problem. So it's only with gadget. I don't know why it's like that. But if we go to the Marseilles and I put like I output the notes from the cells in Craft out to gadget on channel 6. And if we look at the MIDI setting right here, I've got all ins instead of just Craft input, and then I've got channel 6. If we check the other Marseille, then I'm receiving, let's see, both of them are receiving at MIDI channel 6. And I'm uncertain what it is exactly you want to see, the real Dutchie. I'm not really sure. So, oh, we got Bo Beats here in the stream. Hello, Bo. I hope you're having fun with that fidget spinner. You see, I'm thinking of getting one myself because, yeah, of my fidgety fingers, always fingering and wiping everything. But I've got this knee shaking thing. I'm shaking my knee without thinking about it, and that kind of releases tension for me. And sometimes I'm annoying my girlfriend with it, so she kind of puts her hand on my knee, and I get this instant frustration. Not, I wouldn't say rage, but I get really uncomfortable. Like, oh, please let me do this, otherwise I'm gonna get crazy. So maybe a fidget spinner would help. The only thing that takes me like away from that is that earlier today I saw a picture from an article on Facebook with a guy that had busted his finger because he shot the he tried to make the fidget spinner spin really fast, and he did that with air, like compressed air. It started spinning really fast, so it started making a noise, and when it did that, it also exploded, and his thumb looked really messed up. Yeah, so maybe yeah, as long as I don't do that, I know it would be okay, but I'm thinking of getting one. So the real Dutchie says fixed in the thread, so I guess whatever it was that you had, like a problem, I guess you fixed it, and I'm happy for you. So let's see here. Are there any other questions? It looks... no, it doesn't look like there's a lot of questions in here. It just looks like people are having fun. So I'm always happy when people are having fun. All right, so yeah. I didn't really think that this whole stream would go this fast, but I guess I've been doing this for quite some time now. I'm working on the stream. I'm trying to make the stream look better. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run this again. The intro with. And I'm gonna make that into a loop without sound so that I can run that at the beginning. So the first thing that people see is this animated cool logo that just runs in a loop kind of seamlessly, because that would be cool. That would make the show look better. I'm also looking for a way to expanding on the computer I'm using right now. It isn't strong enough to put out 1080p video at 30 frames per second. I'm actually running this at 720p at 30 frames, and it's kind of stable. I know that the sound can get a bit choppy at times, like there are pauses introduced and stuff. I've checked it. I even did 5 test live streams today, just to see what happened. One of them being half an hour long, and I did notice some problems. So yeah, I'm just working on it. I'm trying to give you the good stuff. So that's one thing. Hello, Stephanie Greer from the US. What is time over at your places right now? Like everyone watching this, why don't you start typing out your time zone and your time or something in the chat? I would love to see that. She's like 7 o'clock. Is it like PM? Like not night time, evening. It's like evening over here in Sweden. And I do know that I sometimes stream at weird times, and I would like to stream sometime in the morning so that I can reach a lot of my US viewers. Streaming at 10 o'clock, then I usually reach people from Europe, and I also want to reach some of my viewers from Japan and from down under. So I'm gonna have to keep streaming at different times just to get all time zones. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Got people from the East Coast, people from California, from Canada. This is awesome. This is awesome. I just Yeah, I just love the way that we can connect with each other like this. I mean, I remember a time when this wasn't a normal thing, you know? We're walking around with the technology in our pockets to just phone each other and talk to each other whenever we want to, wherever we want to, almost in any spot on this planet. I know there are some places where coverage of phones aren't that great, but still, we're here and we're able to connect like this. It's pretty awesome. I mean, it's pretty sick. It's pretty sick. Um, is there anything more? I think I've explained everything, and hopefully, when this live stream stops and ends, I hope that this video will go up and not be ganked by the compression system of that YouTube uses, because that has happened before. But if it does, I'll make a new live stream, because I want my viewers to have the stuff. I want them to have the stuff that I'm planning and the things I'm making. That's what I did last time that YouTube messed up my stuff. I just made a new one the day after. Is there anything else than that? No, I guess not. So I'm gonna run this screen. So I want to thank everyone for coming here, and I want to thank everyone for joining up and chatting here in the chat room. And yeah, that's awesome. I've also got a Patreon. I also have a Patreon page. It's called Patreon, right? It's called Patreon. I want to say Patreon, but it's Patreon. So I've got a Patreon site. If you want to support creativity, and if you like the content I make, if you find value in it, then why not support me there? Now, if that isn't your cup of tea, I've also got a PayPal me link that I forgot to include in the splash screen here. But it's down there in the description, and if you're watching this on like a computer, then you can find all of the links in the banner and in the About Me page. So if you rather do a one-off donation, then you can always do that. Now, if you don't want to do either Patreon or PayPal, then you can... I'm messing this up. This is so hard. I struggle with this every time I make a video, and sometimes I keep those mistakes inside that video. I think I did in my last one, the one I put up yesterday with all the Twitter quickies. It's in there. Yeah, because it's a part of my process, and I like showing that too. So if you don't want to do Patreon or don't want to do PayPal, then you can always share my videos, press the thumbs up under the videos if you think that my videos deserve it, of course. And if you subscribe, don't forget to press in that little bell. I recognize the most of you, and I think that the most of you are subscribers. So if you aren't a subscriber, there's a bell thing that pops up when you press the subscription button, and if you tap that, make sure that it's chosen, activated, then you'll always get notified whenever I upload new videos. What do I usually say here? I say like, as usual, I wish you a very productive week. Now go finger all of your stuff and have a lot of fun doing it. Yeah, right there. I'm gonna be doing more live streams this week. I'm gonna be doing loads of them, hopefully. So stay tuned. There's gonna be more coming. Yeah, I guess that's it. So I'm gonna fiddle around until I find the stop thing here. And hopefully I won't make an ass of myself trying to... Where is that thing again? Okay, I found it. So, yeah. Bye, everyone.